there were times where I delivered the food for my own colleagues, which I worked in my Hudson's Bay service. I delivered the food for them as well. And whenever I had gotten delivery to deliver the food for IT parks and well, I used to just dream like, oh, I was in the same place before, but now I have been in a position where I'm delivering for the food for people who were in my position before. That was very bad time, and I used to come back home at night at 9. I used to work all the way very badly. When I used to come back, there used to be red color marks on my thighs, sitting in the bike. So that is how man. And the whole day I used to work and I used to earn like maybe 600 to 800. So I had to
Hmm.
work each and every day to earn my, as I said, my monthly expense was 26,000. To earn that 26,000, I should work all the 30 days. I can't even take a
Hmm.
single day of leave. I used to when I go for some mall as well. Okay, when I went as a customer, it was a royal treatment. And for the same thing, when I went for as a delivery boy, the treatment was completely different.
Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today we have a very special guest with us, Austin. Austin is one of our AccioJob alumni. He was a part of batch 9, I guess, and he studied with us for a year and then he finally got placed in HPC as a software developer. He worked there for a year, but due to tech layoffs, the company had to lay him off, and basically he got fired from there. And then after that, he started working as a delivery person in Zomato because he was the breadwinner of his family, so he had to do something, so he started working there. And it's been 3 months for him that he's been working there, but luckily Austin has finally gotten placed again with Tech Mahindra. It's a job, it's a software developer job, of course, and it's obviously paying better than HPC. So today we will be talking to Austin and trying to understand how this whole roller coaster of a ride was for him, and how did he get to develop his passion towards coding, how was his learning in HPC, and if he has any sort of advice for all the aspiring developers out there, he will also be sharing that with us. Let's without wasting any more time, let's welcome Austin. And so hi Austin, first of all, congratulations for finally getting placed again. Can you
Yeah.
quickly introduce yourself?
Okay. So yeah, I'm Austin De Silva, a B graduate. So right now I'm working as a software engineer at TechM. As told before, just got placed today at TechM, so I'm like beginning a new journey in my life again. So previously I used to work as a software developer, software engineer at Hudson's Bay Service, and I was a part of developing a massive Canadian retail Zellers.com website. That was one of my major achievement in Canadian retail commerce, e-commerce. So that's my
Hmm.
actually a very big achievement what I've done in my as a fresher. So I don't think so
Hmm.
much people will get an opportunity to code and launch that site as well in the beginners in the beginning of their journey. Luckily, I got
Hmm.
that chance, and I thank
Hmm.
that for Hudson's Bay Service actually, and my leads as well. So that's something about me.
So, Austin, thank you so much for introducing yourself. Next question that I want to ask would be about, I saw on LinkedIn that you are a BTech in electrical, right? Electronics and communication, and you chose to basically become a developer, right? So, can you tell us what was the reason behind developing this
Yes.
interest towards
So
coding, and how did you get to know about AccioJob that you also did there?
yeah, I'll tell. So the first, firstly, how I came into coding field. That's because I basically did my higher education. I mean, the eighth high school education in ICSE syllabus. So there I had computer programming language Java. So I
Okay.
got trained for Java in my in my childhood is itself. So yeah, interest on coding has come to me from very long time actually. So that is
Hmm.
where initially I got interested in coding and all those things, and I was really very good at it. So again, why
Hmm.
I liked to electronics and communication in BE was apart from computer science, I was even good at electronics and physics. So what
Hmm.
came into my thought was, so suppose there who knows what time will become, like what time we are facing. So I thought, suppose if there comes a time where IT will not have some value, or if there is some tough time, so that I can switch suddenly into electronics. If not, I can switch
Hmm.
back to my usual coding background. So
Hmm.
that's the thought in my mind, and so I wanted to jump into electronics communication. But my
Hmm.
main goal was to become a developer actually. So that is
Okay.
the whole story behind why I got to electronics and communication and landed back into coding job. So
Okay.
that's, and
Understood.
again, how I came to know about Astro job. That was also very interesting actually. So I'm a social worker. I love
Okay.
to I love to help people, like whatever the people maybe, and what, like I'm a kind of person who want to help others. That's my main agenda in my life actually. I
Hmm.
always keep surrounding enthusiastic. That's my actual my like that's my habit and hobby actually. I don't think so
Hmm.
many will tell this as a hobby, but that's my hobby. I want to keep my surrounding engaged and happy. That's all. So do as
Hmm.
you know, like few years ago, everyone were affected by COVID pandemic, and everyone were very depressed in that situation. So
Hmm.
even like I saw people very depressed at that time as well, and simply instead of being at home and being lonely, I saw what I thought was I landed into one of an NGO, a non-governmental organization. It was a
Okay.
handicapped and a mentally retarded kids school. So I landed there. I
Okay.
used to train the students there. I used to teach math, science, and yeah, math, science. Yeah, that I and computer science. I used to teach them that. I used to counsel kids. So that is where I wasted, like it was my engineering time as well. So 2 years actually, even though I didn't do anything in engineering, but I don't say wasted. Sorry to say they use that word actually. I didn't waste actually. So
Hmm.
I took my 2 years of engineering time and doing social work.
Hmm.
So at that time, what basically happened was there are like so many of my friends who did so many certifications, so many courses to brush up their skills, but I
Hmm.
didn't do anything of that sort. So finally,
Hmm.
when I completed like maybe 2 years of this COVID pandemic situation, my social working and all those things, when I came back for my like last year of engineering, so
Hmm.
when I saw people with so many certification skills and everything, I was like, oh, I should land into some. I should actually find a platform like which is very comfortable and like a platform which can train me from basics and which can train me fast. That is what it can start, train me from scratch, and moreover, not just from scratch, at its best. So after
Hmm.
a whole of so many research, I came to know about Azure job, and there were so many. I know obviously everything will have a pros and cons. So I
Hmm.
heard very good things about Azure job, and I wanted to give it a try. And the best part
Hmm.
was pay after placement. Because there are people who take money and they do like I don't know, like they have even experienced that as well. They take money, they said they'll give placement, blah blah blah, and everything, and where we land up is being like losing our money and even having no jobs. That is where we land into at the end. And Ashio job was something different, which had pay after placement, and that was like I actually like that concept, and I wanted to
Hmm.
give a try for that. But luckily, it was a 6 months of course. But Ashio job trained me in such a way that I could clear the Hudson's Bay interview in just 3 months of my Ashio job course.
Oh,
So just
amazing.
yeah, I joined Astro job before my complete my course and before I complete my engineering. Before I write my final exam of my being engineering, Astro job helped me in getting placed. So luckily, it's actually I feel proud in saying this when everyone were like, when everyone came to write their final exam of my engineering. I came to write exam with my first salary actually. That was actually like I really felt very good
Amazing.
because there were people like they already many of my friends actually had offer letter by that time, but no one had job.
Hmm.
But I was like, even at the end of engineering, I didn't even had single opportunity. But
Hmm.
luckily, although many of them had 2 3 offer letters, I was the first one in our college
Hmm.
to start working, and all the credit goes to Ashore job actually, because they
Okay.
trained me in such a way, and that is like they really deserve that. So happily I landed into Hudson's Bay Service, and it was a Canadian-based company, and actually everything was very good there. So I landed as a software engineer trainee, and my
Hmm.
role was as a Salesforce developer there, and I began my journey as a Salesforce developer there actually. So everything
Okay.
was good and fine, and there was a new project for us to build a multi-banner site called Zellers. So,
Hmm.
and that was our major project, and I actually loved doing that because that was a project which we are going to build from scratch, and that is what
Hmm.
actually every developer, right? That is what I think every developer or every software engineer, every IT guy, right? When he does it,
Hmm.
like I prefer always going to a startup company actually, because when you do something from scratch, right, you will know each and everything of any concept. When you do it from scratch, you will know anything in detail. That is what I
Hmm.
learned in my experience, and I felt
Hmm.
that as well while doing this. Everything was from basic and from scratch. So each and everything we do was like a trial and error, even though it was not a trial and error for me especially. It was trial and error because I was a fresher there, and
Hmm.
whatever the thing were, like whatever the mistakes we do, obviously we had very good lead and managers who were always supporting, and like they were very supportive, and
Hmm.
everything was good and fine. But and finally build like the challenge was for me to develop Zealous.com and get certified by Salesforce as well. But
Hmm.
like God grace or what, I don't know, like just in a span of 6 months I got certified.
Hmm.
I built seller site as well there along with my
Hmm.
colleagues. But unluckily company went into huge loss, and there were like multiple rounds of layoff went on, and I lost
Hmm.
my job in second round of layoff.
Okay,
That was
understood.
actually the thing.
Okay, cool, Austin. So, quite a like an inspiring journey, I must say, right? And I also saw your portfolio, right? And you're saying that on your, in your entire span of working in HPC, you were
Mhm.
working on quite a good projects, right? And
Yes,
काफी
yes.
scratch, like from the scratch, you have built a lot of things. But then on your portfolio, I've seen a lot of projects as well there, right?
Mhm.
So how did you have the time to also manage those and also have a full-time job? Like how did you
So
manage to do
the
that?
projects out of there, right? Half of the projects I did was during Azure job course. To be frank, half of
Acha.
the course was done during Azure job. And
Okay.
actually, as I said, before the complete Azure job course got over, before that gets over, I got placed in Hudson's Bay. So I couldn't concentrate the rest of the subject from Azure job. So
Okay.
later on, the rest of the projects, especially on React, what I built was after I got laid off in this span of like 3 to 3 months. In that span,
Okay.
again, I brushed up my skills and built again my. I brushed up my skills, built few more projects on that.
Hmm. Understood. So, Austin, like you mentioned, in the second round of layoffs, you got laid off basically, and it is just a part of something which is happening in a lot of companies, right? And we don't really know for sure why companies are laying off. It could be because of macro reasons and anything, right? So, it is not specifically your fault as an employer or something. They just had to lay off, so they did. So, when you as an employee know that it isn't your fault or anything, it's not your performance, it could be any other reason, and then you get laid off, how do you make yourself believe in yourself again that then basically you will be able to land a job again, and how do you make yourself motivated again, and how did you do it?
So yeah, I'll tell. So actually, I'm a believer. Actually, I believe in God a lot. So
Hmm.
that's the main agenda or the trust that I have been living with since my birth. Actually, so
Hmm.
coming back to this, IT field. So after I lost my job, I really didn't feel bad at all, because the span of 1 year the span of 1 year where I was in HPC, right? Each and
Hmm.
every day I have learned something, and the company has paid me very well, and I never felt it was my fault. It was either my fault or the company's fault, because I lost my job in the second layoff. As I said, they
Hmm.
tried
Hmm.
to keep the employees as much as they want, as much as they can. They wanted to secure the employees, but they
Hmm.
went into huge loss. Maybe that's what.
Hmm.
And I didn't felt bad at all, because there was not even a single day where they made me feel, oh, why I landed into this place. I not didn't even feel one day like that. So I never
Hmm.
felt, even though when I lost job, and they actually told, like, there were so many benefits even after I lost my job. They have provided me
Hmm.
so much of benefits as well. Even that was actually happy, and I had
Hmm.
no, I never got disappointed anything with my employer actually, because they
Hmm.
did their best at the end.
Hmm.
So after I lost my job, right, I started, I was actually, as I told, I was completely into building, the sellers site, as I mentioned before, and I didn't get a time to brush up my other skills or learn something new, because as
Hmm.
what I was learning was actually new for me. I didn't get a
Hmm.
chance to learn few more things. So actually, and when I came out of that was what I felt was Salesforce, the domain what I had, right? That didn't
Hmm.
had so like the, and the main thing, before I tell all this, right? The main thing what I faced in this era of recession, right? People with low experience, they have no opportunity at all. And if you have
Hmm.
opportunity, I think even the recession doesn't matter for you. That is what I felt,
Hmm.
because what I felt was, if you get a chance to prove yourself, right? If you at least if
Hmm.
they short your resume, and if you have a chance to prove yourself, then it's up. If you didn't clear the interview, then it's your fault. It's up to you. But at least if you are not even getting a chance to prove yourself, then I don't know what kind of I don't know what to say, and that's a really sad thing. At least you should get a chance to prove yourself, and if you don't clear that, that's your fate. We can't tell. So that is what I felt.
Hmm.
And since I had less experience at Salesforce, I never had an opening, because everywhere what I
Hmm.
saw was for 3 years, 5 years, 8 years experience. and 1 year
Hmm.
was like very least actually. So
Hmm.
my started like first thought was to learn something new out of Salesforce, and I started
Hmm.
brushing up my skills. And in between, actually, the sad thing was I joined HBC on June 12th last year.
Hmm.
So sorry,
Hmm.
June 13th last year, and
Hmm.
I completed one. I actually didn't come. 1 year was so one day was less for my 1 year complete journey in HPC before getting relieved, and that was
Hmm.
because I was affected by one of the scam. So there were
Okay.
people. There was a scam. I forgot the name actually. I want to mention that because people. I want to mention their name as well because that was a really bad scam. So many people got affected by that. Even though there was something called
Hmm.
as US Samarth Yojana actually that came up,
Hmm.
and they said it's a government scheme. They have so much project software developed. They asked for money as well, and I lost actually 8,000. Three different terms of I paid them as well, thinking it was a legitimate site because I didn't have any, because Asho Job was the only one who helped me in getting job, and didn't had so much exposure to this kind of
Hmm.
scams and all, because
Hmm.
Asho Job protected me in that. So I didn't had
Hmm.
experience with this kind of scams. So
Hmm.
because what I went through was directly through them, so I didn't had an exposure to all these things. So actually I landed into them, and they asked me for experience letter. And just to provide
Hmm.
them experience letter, I did so much of urgent, and I got my full and final settlement and everything. The last day of working as well,
Okay.
and it was one day less for my 1 year complete experience as well. That was
Hmm.
also a bad part, but luckily, yeah, that is one thing. And again, I got my relieving letter, everything, and then I felt scam. That was actually a major hit for me. Even though
Hmm.
I have no source of income, and on top of that, I was having, I thought, oh, they'll get me placed in few days. I don't need to worry about anything. And that scam hit me so much more than getting laid off. Actually, laid off was nothing for me. This scam affected me, and it really made me disappointed so much. As I said,
Hmm.
I was the only breadwinner in my family. Like it was really hard for me, and I
Hmm.
wanted to tell this as well. So my, like, I know, on an average, right, my expense was a minimum of 26,000 for me.
Hmm.
So, and I wanted at least that much amount of money. So if I
Hmm.
go to some other job, like I'm a IT, I'm a BE graduate. So I got a teaching job as well. I got different job opportunities. But the thing was, they wanted me to be there for like 2 years at least.
Okay.
So what I thought was, I had a hope because I had so much of skills. I had done so
Hmm.
much of projects, and I knew like one or the other day I'll get placed.
Hmm.
So I don't wanted to waste 2 years in something else. So I
Hmm.
still got hope. Like I lost my job in May actually, and I got
Hmm.
relieved completely on June. And
Okay.
I waited, even though I have applied for more than 2,000 jobs to be frank, and
Hmm.
all were rejection, and few there was not even rejection mail as well. So
Hmm.
I waited for like June. I waited the same way. I did so much of projects. I brushed up my skills. Nothing worked out. June and July went on the same way. August again. It was. I thought even in the August month, I thought to do the same thing, but actually I
Hmm.
was badly affected in my financial position. As I
Okay.
said, that the only breadwinner. I without like no chance. I landed into as a Zomato delivery boy,
Hmm.
and the journey was really bad actually there. And I landed into there without no option. And the reason why I chose Zomato rather than preferring the other jobs was, suppose if I had an interview call, right, I can suddenly quit
Hmm.
Zomato. Like, I can say it was a weekly payment there, and it was
Hmm.
according to my time, whichever time I want, I can log in, do the work, and come back. Suppose if I have any interviews, I can suddenly
Hmm.
stop, come back, attend the interviews. So
Hmm.
that is the main agenda why I chose Zomato. And suppose if we leave, if for other jobs, right, it's a monthly payment, and suppose if we quit in between, not sure they'll pay us the amount for what we work for. So
Hmm.
Zomato
Hmm.
was a weekly thing, so I preferred this. But I never knew like I'll be facing so much of hardship after I step into
Hmm.
Zomato, and that was like really bad because I stay in Bangalore, and
Hmm.
it's a common fact that Bangalore traffic sucks a lot actually. Very
Hmm.
really, even to travel 2 kilometers, it takes hours sometime.
Hmm.
And I began my journey as a Zomato because, and there were times where I delivered the food for my own colleagues, which I worked in my Hudson's Bay service. I delivered the food for them as well. And whenever I had gotten delivery to deliver the food for IT parks and well, I used to just dream like, oh, I was in the same place before, but now I have been in a position where I'm delivering for the food for people who were in my position before. That was very bad time. and there were like, there were the value, the like, people how they treat you was also very different. And there were a
Hmm.
time, I don't want to mention the each and every like hardship that I went on, but it was
Hmm.
really bad, really very bad. And I used to sit in like IT. Everyone knows it's just free. Sit in front of laptop and everything is in
Hmm.
the tip of your finger. That is how the IT is actually, and that
Hmm.
is how my work was. Actual like log in at 11, log out at 8 work. But this was not something like that. When I stepped into Zomato, I used to log in at maybe morning 10, and I used to come back home at night at 9. I used to work all the way very badly. When I used to come back, there used to be red color marks on my thighs, sitting in bike. So that is how man, and the whole day I used to work and I used to earn like maybe 600 to 800. So I had to
Hmm.
work each and every day to earn my, as I said, my monthly expense was 26,000. To earn that 26,000, I should work all the 30 days. I can't even take a
Hmm.
single day of leave. That is how the things were. And it was like even though in that span of time I used to come home and I have to have lunch or dinner, I used to come, I used to again post search for job, ask for referral. And even though when I go to deliver food, right, I have to see people. If they see any, I have to ask them, do you have any vacancy at your company? Do you have any vacancy? I have to contact each and everyone, even in the place where I stay, wherever I see in LinkedIn, strangers, I have to message them. And there was so much people were giving me hopes back. I'm there, don't worry. If you want any help, I'll help you. Share me your resume, I'll refer you. That this everything. I'm not sure whether they gave their effort or not. Maybe hopefully they have given their effort. Hopefully I feel like they have done what they could, but I didn't. That there was no. I didn't get the fruit out of it. That is what I can say. And I was still jobless. And finally, the luck is that I want to say this actually. There was one employee who is out of he is not based out of India, and he used to work he's from Decam actually, and he used to work as a contractor for us during our Zealous project. And luckily that friend, and what is this is before that I want to tell this. So after being this 4 months of unemployment, right? So what I thought was I'll post in LinkedIn saying that I
Hmm.
have been doing this. I have been as a Zomato worker and I was into IT for 1 year. Being in IT, I have not even no opportunities are open for me to prove myself, and I kept a LinkedIn post saying that showing my sadness or my disappointment in this IT field. So even there, I felt so many comment for better reach, so many opportunities. Even that didn't work out. But looking at that, the employee what I said from TechM, who was not who is not based out of India, he actually reached out to me saying, "You are a good developer. I never want to see in this situation." And he found out a job in TechM, which there were openings. And when I saw that job posting in LinkedIn, actually there were 2,000 plus employees who had applied for that job. And he did so
Hmm.
much of, like I really thank him even in this position. He did
Hmm.
so much for me. He did so much of he pressurized so much for them to attend me to schedule an interview for me. And
Hmm.
hopefully I cleared the interview for first attempt itself. And
Hmm.
luckily today, today you are having this interview, this video conversation. And today the onboarding went on, and today is my first day of job in Decem actually.
That is
So
amazing.
there's so much of ups and downs. But what I like, as you said, what I want to tell for what I want to convey through this for all the developers or your coders or programmers through this was, there'll be ups and downs. What helps you is just your skills. That's all. Your skills, that's all. Nothing. So just like, see, for an and what I felt was just like how, for a photographer, his photo is a main asset for him. And for a
Hmm.
mechanic, his mechanical tools are a main asset for him. Same as that, right? For a developer or for a coder, especially for a front end developer, his website is his asset. That is what
Hmm.
he can showcase for everyone. That's my work, this is what I can
Hmm.
do. That is the way I felt. And through my portfolio, I had so much of opportunity. That is what I can.
Hmm.
That is something that helped out. So what I would say is to showcase your skills. That's the best way I thought. And
Hmm.
I would recommend my juniors or my like who are seeing this video, or like I would recommend them to, it's as a common asset and basic asset for a developer, I would say. Have your own portfolio, so that everyone recognizes you by that portfolio or your projects. So that anyway, whenever you come land into any tough time, you can show like, this is my skills, this is what I have worked on. So something will be there to showcase. So that's the
Hmm.
first thing. And second thing is, in today's world, right? So when I see a job posting saying front end developer, and when I open the job description, right, what they want is not just the developer skills, not the front end skills. They just want the whole IT team. Actually, they need every skill and every skills. So it's like today you are learning one skills, and after 2 days there'll be a new skill which arises. So that is
Hmm.
how this IT field was. So what I would recommend is every day, like what we do is, no, it will be obviously it will be a huge hectic work for us. No,
Hmm.
every day for 5 days we work, and Saturday Sunday we relax. But what I would recommend is, in that 2 days of relaxation, right, keep at least 3 to 4 hours for learning the new things which has arrived,
Hmm.
because that is what will keep you when you lose this job. Well, like when you land into a situation where I landed, right, that is when these things will hold you up. Actually, that is what I felt. And like, no, I would like see, when I landed into HBC, right, actually, as I said, I never had my BE certificate. I've ever had
Hmm.
my none marks cards. Actually, I didn't complete my BE, but they offered me seeing my skills and the way I cleared
Hmm.
the interview. So what mattered to me was skills again there. Actually, they
Hmm.
are like they all took all my documents after onboarding. I told them
Hmm.
like I have my exams left and all those things. But see
Hmm.
that the people think they like what they want is ultimately the work to be done. That's all.
Hmm.
That is what they want. So
Hmm.
no matter how much you learn, what is your, so how much certificates you have, ultimately what matters is what skills you and what you can deliver.
Hmm.
And today's world, like we have Google and everything is in our tip of the finger. Whatever you want, we
Hmm.
can learn. Google, do anything.
I think that is an amazing piece of advice, Austin. I'm sure people listening to you will definitely pay attention to all of this and will keep all of this in mind. And especially about your point on being brushing up the skills every day, right? Because it is very much important in an ever evolving tech industry, right? So thank you so much. And just one more question that I would like to ask, because like you mentioned, it is very important to work on your skills, technical skills every day, to keep yourself updated with everything that is going on. But like you mentioned, when you lost the job in HPC, right, and then you kept on applying, you applied to 2000 plus companies, right, and you were not hearing back anything from them. But there came a time when you finally decided that you would rather have a job that would give you the flexibility of maybe taking the interview anytime, then something which is society wise accepted, but not something that you wanted, right? So how does one make a decision like that? How can someone be logical about such decisions so that they remain consistent with whatever they want to do in their life, rather than just giving up and start doing something so that the society will accept them as as a prestigious job or something?
Yeah, so I'll tell this. So what I like, before I used to work as a counselor as well. As I said, I used to work in an NGO, right? So I used to counsel kids. So I'm a kind of person who like to interact with people. Okay, so when I
Hmm.
was doing this, what I felt was, everyone has a different story. Like, everyone life is different. We are writing the same exam, but none of us have a same question paper. Everyone has a different question paper. But what we are
Hmm.
writing is a common exam, maybe. But every one
Hmm.
of us have a different question paper. That is what life is. So as you told me, like why I came into this strong decision was, when I was in this tough time, there were no public or no society, no one came to help me out. No one came like, oh, you are in this situation, you have so much of skills, you have done so, you are educated, I'll help you. There were no one. And if suppose, like how the things were going on was, suppose if I have fever or anything, or if I have some sort of infection or something, and if I go to some hospital, right, they used to charge me like 3,000, 4,000, like, no, just for simple things, money was going like something. And what
Hmm.
I thought was like, see, I job is something necessary for me. If I like what I like, see, more than saying, let me come to the point directly. So what everyone does is mainly for money. No, no,
Hmm.
there are people who like, they do for passion maybe, but the people who prefer for passion are the people who have enough in their life. But that is
Hmm.
when they don't prefer for money and they prefer for passion, because they
Hmm.
have in their life. Even though that they won't earn, their life runs back. That is what.
Hmm.
And people, everything. Yeah, there's nothing in this world which comes for you free, other than free
Hmm.
advice. There's nothing
Hmm.
you can get for free actually.
Hmm.
Even now, advice, they charge for advice as well. That is how things are going on now. So it was for each and everything, from whatever it is, from the day you left, from the time you get up and from the time you sleep. everything, whatever you do or whatever you want, everything is for money.
Hmm.
There's no one, no society, no one will come to help you in your hard times actually. Tomorrow
Hmm.
if you die out of hunger, right, no society will come to feed you. Maybe they'll tell, oh, I feel pity for you, I feel very bad for you. So it's, people talk. So as I said, I used to deliver the food for the people who work with me. And
Hmm.
there were two kind of people as well, like the colleagues whom I worked along with, right? People used to say like, you are doing something to live. That's actually a great, what you are doing now is really great, because you have not given up. You're doing something to earn. That's a great thing. And there were people who laughed at me as well. He was in and as I said, I was the first one to get placed in my college. As I
Hmm.
told you, I was the first one, and that was really proud for me, because people who had 3 4 offer letter, even they were jobless. Even now, even today, there were people who had job letter, who had job offers in their hand. Even today, they were jobless, and I was
Hmm.
really proud that I had job before everyone. And
Hmm.
today there came a time, people talk like, you are the first one to get job and you are the first one to lose job also. I had so
Hmm.
much of, so much of insults. I had so much of struggle I went through. As I said, there were people, and there were times, I used to, when I go for some mall as well. Okay, when I went as a customer, it was a royal treatment, and for the same thing, when I went for as a delivery boy, the treatment was completely different. I don't want to say that actually. And that is how things were. And if I was like, oh, I'm not having, I don't have, people won't respect me, people are not valuing me, if I think of that, my life was not running actually.
Hmm.
Like, it was a do or die for me. It's like, you you run and jump into the pool now. So
Hmm.
whether you swim or die, that's all. That was my situation. Do or die. So either I work, leave all my, the insult what I used to face, the depression what I had, the anxiety, the feeling of, the awkward feeling in front of the society, being so educated and being in a good job. Apart from all that, right, my life used to run. That will come. Obviously, there'll be ups and downs. None of the things will remain constant. Even our heartbeat will be up and down. If it's constant, then it's death actually. Like same like there'll be ups and downs. We should not bother about that things.
Hmm.
So that is how it
Understood.
is, and that is what things. And actually, what I used to do, like, this is something I would recommend. Okay, so actually, when you are in this kind of situation and when you feel depressed, right? YouTube is for so many things. You watch movie, you make fun, you watch reality shows, movies, that these cartoons. So what I made use of it was looking into motivational talks
Hmm.
and I landed into a very good story actually. Not sure if I have time to say that story, but it's already so long. No problem for that. I would recommend watching these motivational talks. Actually, you listen to 10 different motivational stories. I'm sure
Hmm.
out of the 10, at least one will change your life.
Hmm.
And like, what I would like to say is this motivational talks, or maybe this, when we say like, Mahabharata, Bible, Quran, or anything, it's a holy scripture. It has so many stories. Apart from being, it's a true or false or so many things, right? Take the good from it, utilize it in your life, implement it in your life. Same
Hmm.
as well, same like that, right? When you go to this motivational talks, out of 10, at least I'm sure one story will bring you out of all your depression. At least
Hmm.
one story pull out you from all your depression. That's something I felt, and I've seen in so many people's actually. That's something I
Understood.
felt. This is
Okay,
how
I
we.
think that is quite an insightful discussion, Austin. I'm sure people will definitely find inspiration from you. And like you started your coding journey while you were in, third year of college, they will also start taking it very seriously and start learning as soon as possible, because your skills. People can take away your jobs, but they cannot take away your skills from you, right? And
Exactly.
you are a true example of that. And we wish you all the best for your future now. Now that today only you have gotten placed and your onboarding is complete. We hope you find what you're looking for in this company, right? And yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for that.
That is it for today's video, guys. I hope you found it extremely insightful with Austin. He had an amazing journey, but he had its all ups and downs. But one thing that remained consistent with him was his coding skills. So if you guys are also interested in learning coding, just go to our website and take the skill eligibility test. The test will definitely help you in identifying which course is best for you, be it MERN stack or Java full stack. Both the courses have amazing instructors and mentors from top IT companies who are going to be there for you for your journey throughout. And if you guys are new to the channel, then don't forget to subscribe the channel and press the bell icon so that you're always notified on all our upcoming videos. And thank you so much. We will see you in the next one.